Hello everyone and welcome back to another Fresh Cast with the Cookie Maker. Today we're going to be bringing you the second half of a guide from Complexity's RSVP that was posted on Team Liquid on how to hold off mutalisks as a Protoss. So this guide is going to be about dealing with the mutaplay that lots of the professional Zergs have been seen doing lately. And as we see, this replay is a little bit longer than average, but however, spawning pool going down and only 5 drones appear. Very, very interesting. And scouting already with that last drone. So, oh my god, we have a 6 pool coming out from the Red Zerg Swing. And now Complexity RSVP will be having to hold this off. The initial pylon is out front, so he is looking for a Forge Fast Expand. He's going to throw it on the Forge, but is he going to see the Lings streaming across the map before he's able to do anything about it? He has not yet scouted. The Lings are on their way, and he is going to scout them leaving their base, so he is going to have time to see something. He immediately turns around that probe and throws down a pylon in his main. So this is Complexity RSVP going to be teaching us how to hold off not only a 6 pool, but possibly mutalisks later on in the replay if it continues to that. So the Lynx streaming in now, and RSVP in a bit of a tight spot, throws down a gateway and a photon cannon already, and he's now going to have to defend that cannon really well, but no, he decides to, can't defend the pylon, but throws down another pylon. So that photon cannon just barely gets up, and is losing a lot of probes right now. If we go to the unit station, we see only 15 probes for him, but the cannon is up, and more Lings streaming in. No, still only 6, but he is going to be taking down this pylon and the Forge as well. So this gateway is now up, and he is throwing down a second pylon. This is really, really good SimCity from RSVP. However, he is spending his money on just other stuff and not probes. Oh, look, finally building probes again, and we'll see what Swing does out of this. He is going for lots of extra drones now and going to be droning up, and then probably going for a hatch, it looks like, seeing as his Lings are completely ineffective at this point. RSVP now chasing them around with the one awesome little Zealot. 5 Lings here could possibly surround and kill that Zealot if it was out of cannon range, but no, 2 Zealots now, and the Lings are going to start getting worked down on, and he's chronoing out 2 Zealots in case of a nasty Baneling follow-up or something like that. Look at this, 2 Zealots moving out across the map now, and we see, if we go to the unit station, we're still looking at relatively even drone count now. So he was able to drone up quite behind that as Complexity RSVP was, he was definitely chronoing out Zealots off that, and he looks like he's going to intend to Forge Fast Expand again out of this, placing his Cybercore at the front for the wall off, and now sending 2 Zealots to the front. Oh, he's going to have to run with those 2 Zealots. He may have sent them a little preemptively. Are they going to meet up with the other 2 Zealots in time? They all might. They might. Can he save them? Oh, look, 4 Zealots are going to go to town on these Lings. He's done some really good micro with these Zealots, but unfortunately, there's just too many Lings there with the surround, so approximately 7 Lings are going to be streaming into the base now, and he is throwing down, but he throws down the wall off in time. Is he going to be able to wall off the Cybercore in time, too? The Cybercore might go down. Is he going to get another Zealot out? Cannon's coming up now, and I believe the Cybercore will stay up. The cannon is up in time. So RSVP now sitting on 2 gas in his main, is getting he's mining down his main pretty well, going up to a robotics facility, and has 2 gateways already, as well as a 3rd gateway down already, and the Nexus down as well. But Swing is now on 2 base, and sitting on 2 base is pretty happy for a Zerg. Taking up to Lair already, hasn't taken any of his extra gases, but no doubt if he is going to be going mutalisk as the guide entails, we'll be seeing him take his 2nd gas, his 3rd gas, and his 4th gas. Take your 4th gas. You need it for mutalisks. You can't. There it is. Takes his 4th gas. Lots of Lings sitting out on the map now for Swing. He's got a dominating map control here, but RSVP, look at that, poking in at the Overlord. But the Overlord is really sneaky spot on these cliffs. In case anyone didn't know, if the Protosses can't see this Overlord until they get a flying unit out. If you sit it right here or right there and on hold position, these Lings still in a good commanding map position because not only only a couple of Zealots and sentries out for RSVP, and he is chronoing out those probes right now. Swing a little bit supply block, but look at this. What do we have in the corner? A Ninja expansion. So we're just going to speed this up a little bit and see what's going on. We see Swing has got his Spire up, and the OBS has spotted it. So now this is where our RSVP shows us what he's made of. Immediately throws down the Twilight Council. This is his strategy. You throw down the Twilight Council, and you start warping in Stalkers. Stalkers warped in. Cannons in the mineral line. 2 cannons right here, surrounded by this 1 pylon. All your stuff in the mineral line to defend against that first Muta engagement, because no doubt the Mutas are going to be running their way into this natural or into the main, and cannons again in the main. 1 cannon here, 1 cannon there, should be enough to hold off a little bit, and we see a pylon, and as soon as that Twilight finished, blink. Now look at this, he's also cranking out observers. He's got at least 1 out there, at least 1 on the map, another 1 out on the map here. I believe if we go to the unit station, he's sitting on 3 observers. So he's using those observers to spot for where those mutalisks are going to be. In the production structure, we see Blink is nearly finished, and I'd be very surprised if he doesn't put down, he puts down more gateways for more stalkers, because those mutas are trade really cost effectively. But look at this. Notice throughout all that, he's had the time to keep his upgrades going. He's going with 1-1 upgrades on the Stalkers, and you'll see him constantly cranking out the +2 and +3 upgrades for the Stalkers because he wants that attack upgrade to be able to snipe, to really trade cost efficiently with those Mutalisks. So the Muta Ball, not too big right now. If we go to the unit tab, he's only sitting on 14 Mutas, but they have not all joined up. As soon as they do, it's a bit of a more fearsome force, but I bet you by now he's going to be getting his Dark Shrine up. Yeah, he wants to go Dark Shrine because he wants to get that map control back with the Dark Templar as well. He'll also be coming out with a very likely come out with a High Templar Shrine, a Templar Archives, because that Storm is also so effective. So as soon as he realizes his opponent is committed to Mutalisks, he'll be wanting to get lots of Storm. Now, interestingly enough, one of the things that he likes to point out in his guide is that against a Mutalisk player, the only thing that Mutalisk players have money for is Zerglings, expansions, and Mutas, because Mutas can take a lot of gas, so he's spending all his gas on Mutas. The only thing he has left to put into an army is Zerglings. So that leaves you free as the Protoss to take this third a lot faster than you normally be able to against a standard army composition, because the standard army composition of just Roach Ling or Heavy Hydra possibly means that the Zerg could just come and push and possibly kill you if you take that third too early. But in this case, as long as he can defend it well enough with cannons and those Blink Stalkers and a couple, of course, the Sentries and Guardian Field, he'll be able to easily combat the Lings with any Zealots, because the Zealots, of course, tear apart the Lings, and the Zealots are the money dump, while working on building up his Blink Stalker army to fend off the Mutalisks. So that third base will come up much quicker than your average third. I understand that 15 minutes is fairly late into the game, but considering he held off a 6 pool to begin with, not bad. So look at this. Those Mutas and Lings doing a really good job of keeping map control, as our Zerg has 2 Ninja expansions now and is working on off of 6 gas and working on his +2 upgrades for the Mutas. But look at this. +2 upgrades was just chronoed out for the Stalkers, and I'll bet you he's going to go for +3. Now, the Mutas coming in and cranking down those 2 cannons, but those 2 cannons did their job and fended off any probe damage. So we'll see him very likely throw those cannons right back up again to prevent any more damage. And again, still going with the Observers. He really likes to get those Observers up and around the map. There's 1. Now, I can't see them all, but there's 2. Let's see. He has, holy jeez, that's 6 Observers. DT preventing that third. Of course, unfortunately, the third isn't up. 1, 2, another DT. Another DT, so I think that DT knows that this is here, but no, there's the Spore Crawler to prevent that. And another OBS, and where's the other OBS? And another OBS, so he has a ton of Observers just spotting for where those are going to be coming in. Now, those Zealots are working on those Lings, and those Blink Stalkers are there to take care of those Mutas, and the Cannon's doing a really good job fending off anything, and he still hasn't lost a ton of workers, doing a really good job continuing to keep that saturation just by fending off with those Blink Stalkers. Now, this is a super heavy Muta play, and he has another OBS in the middle there, so he knows exactly where the Zerg army is at all times. Of course, the Zerg is on 4, well, relatively on 4 base right now, but at this point, rsvp is doing his absolute best to get a big army up. Now look at this. Luckily for him, the Zerg comes and engages right in his natural. Those Ling's doing a really good job taking down the Zealots, but he warps in more Zealots and fends off again with Blink Stalkers, trading really cost efficiently again with those Mutas, because Blink Stalkers for Mutas is always a good trade until it gets to small numbers. And in that case, you want to keep off, but still doing really well to keep those Blink Stalkers alive, and warps in more and blinks again and does a great job taking those off. Crap, let me get back to that. Sorry, guys. Excellent. So fends off those Mutas again. And look at this. Another big attack coming in. Oh, pardon me. This is the one we just watched. We'll go through it one more time. He decides to attack right through the center. The probe's getting transferred again, getting transferred, and he warps in a couple of Zealots to take care of those, to take care of the Lings, and then more Stalkers to take care of the Mutas, and doing really good job. Understands that he'll be taking care of those, and the Cannons always staying within cannon range. The Cannons are poking at them a lot. And of course, he knows that there's a ton of Mutas there, and he can't directly engage, so he just continuously pokes back and pokes back, warps in a huge round of Stalkers, blinks up to surprise, and again trades really cost efficiently for him. Now, our Zerg player is getting lower and lower on gas, while our Protoss player is doing a really good job of keeping his money relatively even, because look at this. Zerg player can't spend his money fast enough because those Mutas are so heavy on gas. He's just going to be going up with the spine wall, probably taking down this third. And look at this. The DT here knows exactly what's going on, so he's going to have to be really pesky with that. Unfortunately, our Zerg player is doing a really good job defending his expansions from DTs. However, they're not going to be safe in the long run, as they are split wide open. So so our Protoss player can make a strong push to kill several of them. Look at this, warping in those High Templar, and they do have Storm already, so they've been collecting energy. Now, one trick that rsvp really likes to do is leave a High Templar at each base. One there, one in his natural, and one in his main. No, I guess he doesn't really need one in his main, does he? Because there's no real mining going on there anymore. But he does have one at each of his bases, and he does not have one here yet, as that base is just getting up, because as they sit here, the longer they sit there, they can collect enough energy to throw down 2 Storms at once and a feedback if need be. So, That's going to be great. And of course, this Link counter is going to come and crush this 4th attempt to get up, but his Blink Stalker is going to be there perfectly to fend off the Mutas. So, next RSVP, his job is to move out with lots of Link Zealots and Storms, because Storms crush Lings and Mutas. And look at this, our Zerg player knows he cannot engage this directly and instead goes for a huge counter, which may force RSVP to turn around instead. But because of his excellent SimCity here, he's able to just lose a lot of probes and the cannons, unfortunately. So he's losing all those probes, but he does kill this expansion. And so our Zerg player is mined out of his natural, or pardon me, mined out of his main, and soon to mine out of his natural. And look, a big counter for these moves, but no, he has lots of Stalkers in reserve, as well as that High Templar. So the Storm and Stalkers were enough to take that as well. He sniped that base. So he has successfully sniped that base, as well as relatively defended at home. He did unfortunately lose that 3rd, but if we go to the unit station, we see he's still on 56 probes. So he has a relatively good probe count, and looks like he wants to make a bit of a push for the open field. Big lane counterattack coming out now, and he's going to choose to take down this extra expansion instead of attacking into the main. Big Broodlord army out now for our Zerg player, and I don't know how our Protoss is going to deal with this. That is a huge Broodlord army, although the supplies are relatively close. The Broodlords have a big tech advantage, but as we can see in the production tab, we see 9 High Templar in the units tab, and if there's production on the way, it's going to be just a Nexus and ground armor level 2. So we see he immediately gets lucky there by sniping a couple of those infestors right away, and he's definitely going to snipe this base, but those Broodlords are moving in, and what's he going to do about that? He blinks away. Now, does he? Oh, and he storms all the Broodlords. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. He storms the Lings and Mutas. Really good storms, but that army was completely cleaned up. Only a few Stalkers left in the midfield, and I don't know how RSVP is going to manage from here. He's been able to snipe several of the bases, but there are still 2 big mining bases that could get up for our Zerg player, but he has no drones. He has absolutely no drones. All of his drones are committed to the last 2 bases. If we go to the unit station, we see 39 drones. Where are they all? Oh, 3? No, that's 1. Where are all the drones? Where are the drones? A few over here. They're there. Okay, lots of drones over here. So, he could be sitting on more mining bases, but he is not at this time, and instead he's opting to push for the front. But look at that. Those Broodlords are so weak. A couple of big storms, and they'll get sniped, or just a couple of nice Blink Stalker plays, and they can get sniped. And he decides to turn them around. Very interesting. Now RSVP is still mining from that 3rd base. It's getting lower and lower and lower. His 4th has been denied many times, as well as a Ling placed there, as well as a Ling placed here to make sure it doesn't go down. I don't know how RSVP is going to make it out of here. He's got 3 Archons in the mix now, as well as a nice Blink Stalker army. So he has replenished his army, and he has Storms yet again. So he is hoping to, if he can snipe that Broodlord army, he's going to be in big advantage. But he's also going to have to take down those infestors and again deny one of these bases. He needs to get an expansion up, or he is all in here, because this is only 1 mining base for him, and the Zerg is on 2. Soon to not get a 3rd up, interestingly enough. Zerg does not look like he's taking a 3rd anytime soon, but he is sending Lings out on the map to scout out. And our Protoss player, our Protoss hero, is just sitting here in the middle, and Broodlords firing in now. Blink Stalkers moving in, getting fungled, unfortunately, but that's a ton of Zealots. Wow, those Zealots should be able to deal with those Lings really well, and a lot of fungal whiffs, but these nice storms again, nice storms, but is he able to snipe down the Broodlords? He's doing lots of damage with those Stalkers, sniping them down, and wow, amazingly, look at that, really strong engagement from our Protoss player. All those upgrades, the 3-2 upgrades, helping so much there, just taking down all the flying units that have no Carapace upgrades at all, and no energy infestors, and are able to be sniped down by the Zealots, and a really good engagement for our Protoss players, able to completely destroy the Zerg army, and the supplies are really in favor of Protoss now, 94-56. He snipes down this expansion, and a well won from Swing, and Swing decides to GG out, as Protoss during that was able to get his 4th up. So one of the keys to the victory there was got his 3rd up really quickly and was able to sustain it for a long time while getting really fast Blink Tech. He got that Blink Tech and was able to defend off a lot of Mutalisks while putting at least 1 or 2 cannons in each mineral line. Then he gets the High Templars with Storm, and the Storm allows him, and he leaves 1 or 2 at each base, so that Storm is able to defend off those Mutalisks while collecting energy. He also expands quickly. He tried to take that 4th really quickly, and it got denied several times. In that case, once it got denied, he pushed out and killed those expansions, because he knew that no direct army engagement could ever win for Swing that early until he had Broodlords. And so, but while that happened, of course, he did get countered several times, but with better SimCity, possibly more gates here, or more cannons, he probably could have held that off too, as we've seen in past replays. Thank you, everyone. That was another fresh cast by the Cookie Maker, and I hope you enjoyed part 2 of this tutorial series.